Good morning. Welcome, Robin. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you as well.
We're here Saturday morning to discuss real estate, especially in the Rochester area. And, you brought along your monthly real estate report.
Well, I know how much you love that.
Well, statistics are kind of a fun thing. You can spend a lot of time looking at these numbers and pulling different statistics out of them.
And truly, this is something that we put together each month, and it just to give, our consumers a snapshot of the Rochester market.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really an educational tool because I feel like when people do get this and they read it, they really understand the market so clearly. So I think it's really been good.
Well, what I can gather from it, the quick glance that I've had, I'm going to take it home and study it further, is that, well, number one, houses are still selling. They're selling pretty good. And what is it called? Days on market? Is that the statistic that they gather? Is remarkably short.
Isn't it great? Yeah.
So what are we seeing? Are we seeing less than 2 weeks or around 2 weeks?
I always tell people less than 30 days, but it's typically been closer to 2 weeks than 30 days. I mean, depending on what price range. When we get into the little higher price ranges, it might take a little longer. But, overall, the market is still super healthy. I mean, really a great market. And the interest rates, of course, keep it that way, I think. Yeah,
I saw earlier this week the news report that Freddie Mac had said the one they always report is the 30-year fixed. Mm-hmm. And it was down to 3.6.
Isn't that something?
And that's the lowest it's been in almost 2 years.
It's crazy. I mean, I get things from different lenders every day. This is what because the rates vary a little bit from institution to institution. And I saw one the other day that said 2.78 for a 15-year fixed.
15-year fixed.
Yeah.
Under 3%.
Under 3%.
So we talked last week when we were talking about commercial real estate and what in this market, especially the growth market that it's considered a very safe investment. Isn't this a signal how safe real estate is, that people are willing to lend you hundreds of thousands of dollars
for pennies,
next to nothing interest rates?
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome. And I feel like, it's a real smart move because as long as people can afford to invest in real estate, that's going to be great for the economy, right?
The ripple effect of real estate.
Right.
You get that new home. Oftentimes you get new furniture with it.
Get new carpets, painting, all those things.
And you get those pizzas delivered while you're doing the painting in the house.
Keep all of the other subcontractors in business as well.
You mentioned a healthy market. And I think we talked about this in one of our earlier programs early on.
So we talked about
even split between
exactly
what's for sale and who's buying or how many are being bought.
So in our August report, I can kind of read it to you here. It says, currently there are 305 sales pending in the market overall, leaving 395 still for sale, resulting a pending ratio of 43.6%. Okay, so why I call it a healthy market, because that's such a balanced number. Because if we have a high ratio, it means listings are in demand and they go so quickly. Okay, if we have a low ratio, that means we don't have enough qualified buyers and houses are going to sit on the market too long. But when we're at such a nice median number, it means houses come on the market, we still have buyers, they sell, and things go around the way they're supposed to. So we're not in that, shark, whatever you want to call it, where everybody's going crazy in the spring and we've got 16 people that want the same house, and in 8 hours we've got 16 offers, and that was crazy. That was a frenzy, right?
So we've kind of backed away from that now?
I'm still seeing some multiple offers, but it's typically 2 or 3. I'm seeing a lot of solid offers, meaning full price or maybe even slightly above, that come day 1 or 2 or 3 because they're trying to avoid the multiple offer situation. So, no, I think that the market is still strong. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's balanced. It's not like there's such a shortage of inventory. So now there's a little bit of a healthier balance between buyers and inventory.
You've always taught me since we began this program, I'm considering myself a student,
I love it.
that the houses, the properties will sell for what they should sell for in the correct market.
Exactly.
So is this another reflection of that? These homes
Exactly.
are being valued correctly?
That's right. And so what's happening is people are getting their houses sold for what they're worth because there's qualified buyers out there looking to buy houses for what they're worth.
What they're worth.
Yes. So that's exactly right. It's not one of those, there's such a shortage that people have to overpay to get. And it's not that there's so much surplus that people have to sell for less than value to get it sold.
So this isn't a reflection of a weakening market at all.
Absolutely not.
I call
this
a slowdown at all.
You know, you hear people say that, and you hear, "Oh, is it gonna? Are you slow?" We're certainly not slow. Let me recap my last 3 weeks. Okay, not even talking about my buyers, but 3 weeks ago on Friday, I like to focus on listings coming on the market on Friday. And the reason I like to do that is because I feel like the majority of our buyers go out house hunting on the weekends.
Sure, that makes
it's when
sense.
they can, right? So I feel like they want to look at the freshest listings first. So if we put our listings on Friday, hence they're fresh for the weekend. So 2 Fridays ago, we put 4 houses on the market on Friday. And by Saturday, all 4 were sold. Last Friday, a week ago Friday, we put 4 houses on the market, and by Saturday, they were all 4 sold. And yesterday, we put 6 houses on the market and put them on late in the day yesterday. We've got showings booked. So far, no offers, but I'm hoping to sell all 6 of them this weekend, or at least in the next 2 weeks, and certainly in the next 30 days.
That sounds like a red hot market is what that sounds
Yeah,
like.
well, I feel like it's still very, very good. Yes.
Are these homes falling into any sort of specific price range or even geographic area neighborhoods?
You know, they've been all over the board. Let me just talk to you about the new listings I have because, hey, why not give them a little boost, right? The less expensive is 1421 3rd Avenue Southwest. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath, and it's available for $159,900. So that's right here in Southwest Rochester.
Affordable housing right there.
Very affordable. Won't last long, I promise you. If you call me tomorrow, or you can just watch my post on Facebook because it'll probably be sold. And then we actually listed one down in Wilson, Minnesota, which is down by Winona. And we listed that one for $219,900. And that's a cute little house.
That's kind of bluff country right there, isn't it, Wilson?
Yeah. Yep. And then here in Rochester, another new one yesterday, 1868 36th Avenue Southeast. Beautiful. Oh, my gosh. This house, these people maintain this house so perfectly. The yard is about, I think it's a little over a half acre, and it's really flat, and it's got some mature trees. They get big turkey, and they get deer. It's a 2-story and 3 bedrooms up, a big master and a couple other bedrooms. And really nice house. It's gonna go really fast. It's got a 3-car attached garage and a 2-car detached garage. 5 garage stalls, $319,900.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got me with a garage.
Yeah, that's a lot. You sound like most of our male buyers. I'm not trying to be sexist, but I'll tell you, men are like, "Can we see the garage?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a garage," but yeah, they do love all those garage stalls.
There's no such thing as a garage that's too big.
Okay. If you want a river place, we listed a really awesome place down in Tepeota. Are you familiar with Tepeota?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So really nice place down there. These folks were only owners. They built it. It's a cedar house. Really unique. I mean, there is nothing cookie cutter about this house. It has 2 separate upstairs areas. So one of the upstairs areas has a family room, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom. It's almost like having guest quarters within your home.
Huh.
Yeah, they have 2 adult daughters, and when they come home with their husbands, like for Christmas or something, they have their own little condo up there. And then there's a separate upstairs that's just the master bedroom and a den with a master bath. And it has a balcony, and you go out on the balcony or deck, and you get out there and you sit and you can see the main channel of the Mississippi River. It's beautiful. And then on the main floor, there's a living room. And then you walk out the living room, and then there's a separate entrance into this great big party room, like a big 4-season porch room. It's really unique.
Sounds wonderful.
It's really awesome. Another main floor bedroom. So big kitchen that's got granite and really nice little coffee bar. And in the coffee bar, again, you're looking at the Mississippi River. What a way to have your coffee. And the outside living at that place is just as incredible as the inside. So that one's $375. And then back here in town, over in northeast Rochester, we listed one up on Char Lane, and it's an executive home. It's very high-end finishes throughout. You know, it's got custom cherry cabinets and granite countertops, and it's got fireplace upstairs, fireplace downstairs, big bedrooms, master on the main. It's got one of those, oh, you're going to love this if you like garages, one of those big pre-stressed rooms below the garage.
Oh, yeah.
With the access to the outside. So if you want to bring your mower in and park it and stuff, you don't got to put it in your upstairs garage. And if you see this guy's upstairs garage, you'll know why he doesn't put it in, because he's got the fancy garage floor. He's got the walls painted, sheetrocked, and artwork hanging on. I'm not even kidding. So, I mean, it's got all brick exterior, so it's beautiful curb appeal, situated on a cul-de-sac. It's actually right across County Road 22 from the Northeast Clinic, and it's in kind of a cul-de-sac on the opposite side.
That's a fairly new home then, too.
Yeah, I think it's built in 2000.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
It looks and feels brand new. It's got 2 decks. They're both maintenance-free. It's got professional landscaping. I mean, it's beautiful. And that one's $464.9, 4 beds, 4 baths. And then I have one that's kind of at the higher end, up on the top of Weather Hill, listed a beautiful walkout ranch for $799.9, and that one's got 3.5 acres. It's got a 28-foot waterfall. It's got a pond. It's got vaulted ceilings. You walk in the front door and you just see this wall of windows, and you don't even really have to look any further. You're like, oh my goodness. So, I mean, look at that. One in the 100s, one in the 200s, one in the 300s, one in the 400s, and one just under 800. So that's quite a mix. One
That is a mix.
Down in Wilson and one over on Tepeota, over by Wabasha. So
all over the place and all price ranges.
yeah, so we definitely sell them all, and we're
busy.
happy about that. Happy about that.
We're talking with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group Remax Results on Newstalk 1340 KROC-AM. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group Remax Results. We're talking about the Rochester real estate market, the latest data right in front of me. And one thing we've talked about before, even the last segment, is how quickly homes sell. And I know that at least my intuition would be, Robin, that those in that affordable category would probably go lightning fast and probably quicker than anything else. What are we seeing in the statistics as far as, you know, the number of days a home is on the market before it's sold?
Okay. So if we are looking here at this market report, over the last 6 months, the median sold price in Rochester has been $246,000, which is about normal, you know. And the average days on market has been 16 days.
Just 16
so
days.
16 days. And that's because that spring market, you know, those 1 day, 2 days.
Yeah.
If there's other houses, 30 days. It all balances out. But, I mean, it's still really, really good.
But that figure also covers every single price range, right?
That's all price ranges. Yep. So if you look at the 200 and under, it's, you know, the 2 days, 3 days. But this is what I think is really cool, is it says that in the last 6 months, the properties in the 700 to 800 price range have sold quickest.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that great? I'm really happy because I told you one of my new listings yesterday was $799.9. So hopefully.
Well, that seems counterintuitive, but why do you think that's happening?
Well, first of all, I think there's less inventory in that price range and plenty of qualified buyers. As you know, we live in a affluent community with a lot of highly educated, well-paid people, right? So people can afford it. And with the interest rates, people are smart. They're realizing, geez, I can get a pretty darn good loan and pay, you know, like we talked about, less than 3% if they're doing a 15-year mortgage percent. So their monthly payment will be decreased. A few years ago, they could have bought a $600,000 house, and now they can buy an $800,000 house and look at not much variation in the monthly payment because of the difference in the interest. It makes such a difference. So I think that's why people are comfortable,
Yeah.
buying more, spending more.
That's one thing you better. Is that something you work out with folks when you sit down and talk to them and go, what are you looking for? And then perhaps say, right now with 2.8% interest,
Absolutely.
your budget could be here instead of here.
Sometimes people will call me and say, do you help people rent places? And I say, well, I can. It's not a service I provide, but I have a lot of knowledge as far as where the rentals are available, what the prices are, and it's something I'm sure happy to help you with. It's not a service that some real estate agents might charge for that. It's not a service that I charge for. I would do it for the main purpose of educating them about the real estate market and hopefully obtaining them as a buyer down the road, right? So maybe some of them really are in a position where they want to or have to rent initially, but most of them really hope to do that temporary and buy something eventually. And it's amazing to me how many people are qualified to buy that have no idea that they're qualified to buy. They just assume I'm not in a position to buy a house, so I need to rent. So when we have that initial conversation and I say, why do you think that? Is it that you have really poor credit? Oh, no, I have excellent credit. Is that you don't have a good job? No, I have a really good job. So what is I don't have the down payment that I'm going to need. Well, you might be surprised, right? So we've talked about this in past episodes as well.
When you had the mortgage banker in
right.
with us, I was just astounded that these type of loans are available for like I say, for folks who have solid employment and a nice income.
Right. And there is literally loans for 0% down. And it's not even always high income. Sometimes it's like these rural loans where there's a subsidized down payment. There's all kinds of different programs out there. So a lot of people actually are qualified to become a home buyer and they just aren't aware of it. So I always tell people, if you have questions about real estate and when am I ready to buy or how do I know or what is the process, oh my gosh, please reach out because we love to counsel people and help people understand how the process works. People who don't buy houses on a regular basis, which is most people, don't really know what the process looks like. And I think that sometimes they feel awkward asking questions or they feel like they should know this stuff, and why should they? And so when we can sit down and have a conversation and just explain the process and this is how it works, and we've talked about all the steps, getting pre-approved, going to look at houses, selecting a house, inspection, all of those things, and then they understand it and they feel comfortable.
I'm imagining that, and I don't have a lot of knowledge about this, but the rents for a house, I'm guessing $1,300 a month, probably.
Oh, that would be good if you can rent a house for $1,300.
Okay. A little bit behind the times.
A little bit behind the times. There certainly are people that have houses out there for rent for $1,300.
But
there's
say $1,500 then.
Yeah.
You could buy a lot of house at $1,500 a month.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. And so that's what people don't get is that they think, well, I have to buy it. Sometimes it's because I'm only going to be in Rochester 3 years, and it wouldn't make sense to go to the expense of buying a house and then having the headache of selling the house. Well, then when I explain that in the real world, it's pretty darn easy to buy. It doesn't require much down. And when you sell, it's not going to be a headache because it's probably going to sell pretty quickly, and you might just make a few $1,000. It all of a sudden sounds a lot more appealing.
Yeah. The money's going towards something
right.
instead of to somebody.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
All right. We're talking Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Back in just a moment. Good morning and welcome back. Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. We're going over the Rochester Real Estate Market Report this is for the month of July, correct? The statistics?
Correct, because it was just put out the first week of August.
Okay, but it also covers past months. And one of the figures that jumped out at me was the median list to sales ratio. I was never familiar with this until we covered what all these different titles mean a few weeks ago. And of course, if you want to catch that program, you can get it in the podcast form at KROCnews.com under local podcasts. But it's at 100.4%.
Right.
Well, that's that's exactly where you want to be, isn't it?
That's exactly right. So, I mean, that's just saying that houses are selling for what we're asking. And we talked about that, right? So if the average sale is 100.4% of the list price, that means that we real estate agents are doing a good job of listing properties properly. And it's funny because sometimes we get called to a listing appointment. We'll get kind of an old school seller that says, well, we probably should inflate that price a little bit so we give a little room for negotiation.
You got it. That's part of the game.
And I try to explain to people that there's nothing more important than pricing the property correctly, okay? Because the truth is that when somebody buys that house, an appraiser is going to come in and do an appraisal. And if that house isn't worth the price that it's sold for, problems start, okay? Because the bank is not going to give the loan against the property if it doesn't appraise at the price you bought it for. So it's really important to price it right. And when I tell people, I always say my opinion of overpricing a house is the equivalent to real estate suicide, because people know that it's priced too high, so they avoid it and they buy something else. Okay, so now you've missed out on potential buyers that were qualified and could have bought your property because you had this pipe dream of getting an overvalued price, right? And now, eventually, it sits and it sits, and now you wake up and you realize, oop, I better get real and go with the price that Robin said I should, or whoever your agent may be. And now you do the price reduction, and now the house is sitting on the market a while, and people think it's distressed merchandise. Why hasn't it sold?
Something must be wrong.
And now the offers start coming in low, and now you're going to end up selling your house for lower than you could have if you had priced it right.
I know somebody who did this.
Do you?
And that's exactly what happened.
Yep, it's inevitable. And I always tell people, this is my favorite line. Anybody that's ever had me at their house for a listing appointment knows I say this. I always say, well, you can want what you want, but you're going to get what you get. And you might want that price. I also want to be a size 0, and I think we're both just out of luck. It's just the way it is. The reality is the reality.
It is what it is.
Correct.
Another figure that we've talked about in the past and is kind of a neat indicator of what's happening is what's called the absorption rate. Maybe you can explain more about what's happening now with the absorption rate.
Sure. So that shows like how much inventory we have on a running basis, right? And so currently we have 2.1 months of inventory. That's based on the last 6 months of sales.
Okay, so what does that
So that means if all of a sudden there was a freeze on listing, nobody put a house on the market, in the next 2.1 months, we would be out of houses to sell. So everything that we have on the market right now is enough to last us for 2.1 months.
Well, that seems really low.
Yeah, it's really good because then it's a nice even amount because, like I told you, 4 houses on the market 2 weeks ago, 4 last week, 6 this week. You know, things are coming, and then 4 sold and 4 sold, and now so things are just moving along. We're pricing them right, we're selling them quickly, and the market is really even and healthy.
So as the buyers are coming in, the houses are coming onto the market. And wow, okay.
Yep. So it's a really
It's
really
a good time
number
of the year right now for the Rochester area. I know we're almost out of time for our program this morning, and we're already into the month of August. So I kind of wanted to remind folks that at the end of the month, the very last Thursdays downtown, now that we're on a streak of really good weather, is going to be another
Gwaltney
fun day.
Group.
Yeah, on Historic 3rd, correct?
Yes, absolutely. We'll talk more about that next week.
I just want to get that in so you can put it on your calendar.
Thanks for the plug. I appreciate it.
Well, get out and buy and sell houses, right?
And if you need help, we're happy to help you. So feel free to call me on my cell phone at 507-259-4926 or visit our website at gwaltneygroup.com. That's GWALTNEY group.com.
And as we heard today in the program, you think you're not in a position but would like to be.
Yeah, any questions?
Find out.
A lot of times people just call and say, does it make sense to put on an addition? Should I remodel or sell? You know, anything that we can counsel you with, we're absolutely happy to do that at no expense to you. So reach out.
Fantastic. Robin, thank you again. We'll talk to you next week. Or maybe meet another member of your team next week. We'll
Maybe
find
so.
out.
All right.
We'll leave that up to in the air. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340, KROC-AM and 96.9 FM.